how many of you would give up $1 million per year sponsorship to double down and bet on yourself? Well, earlier this year, Tyshawn Jones made national headlines as he sued Supreme for a whopping $26 million. Tyshawn Jones is one of the most influential street skateboarders of the modern era, not just because he's really good, but because he represents a turning point in what skateboarding looks like, sounds like, and sells to the world. Tyshawn is known for his insane amount of pop. He clears picnic tables, garbage cans, even entire subway stops. You might know him from the kickflip or backside flip or tray flip over the 145th station subway gap, which went everywhere. Insane. It was crazy. That one trick pretty much made him Skater of the Year again, I'm pretty sure. It was just due to that. Tyshawn has crossed over into fashion and culture in a way very few skaters ever have. His image has influenced streetwear, sneakers, advertising, far outside of skateboarding. Brands didn't just want him to sell skate gear, they wanted his presence. But he's one of the few skaters that the name alone can really move product, and it shows. He was making $80,000 a month on just his Supreme contract. But Supreme ended his $1 million a year deal in late 2024, arguing Jones breached his contract by appearing in a Marc Jacobs ad campaign, despite Jones claiming similar non-Supreme work was previously approved. But Tyshawn then sued Supreme for $26 million, and he alleged wrongful contract termination and defamation, claiming Supreme dropped him for cost-cutting measures before Supreme's sale from VF Corp to EssilorLuxottica, and that Supreme damaged his reputation by spreading false rumors about the alleged breached contract. VF Corp, obviously, they own Vans and JanSport and the North Face. It's all this stuff that happens. Big corporations start selling off umbrella companies and stuff gets messy, so I can see why Tyshawn would be annoyed. But this news really blew up and made it way out of the skate bubble into the mainstream media. You know, you got Supreme, VF Corp, this luxury conglomerate. It's on a level that almost no skaters get to, where his brand and his presence are similar to that of like an NBA or NFL athlete. And clearly his image is incredibly valuable to have. But we've seen a lot of celebrity endorsed products that are just pretty subpar, just propped up on clout alone. But with all the hubbub about Tyshawn and like who's Tyshawn writing for, who he endorses, what products he sells, is there something more to his products? Does he demand perfection in what he's selling, or is he just using his clout to move units with no real substance? So we're going to take a look at the most important product a skater can have, his shoes. Luckily, him and Adidas seem to have a pretty good relationship still from the outside looking in, and his shoes are now staples of the Adidas skate line. This is his second pro shoe on Adidas, so obviously it must be doing well. But the last few Adidas that I've worn have been kind of all over the place in quality. The Sambas were pretty decent for the price, even better than expected, but the Superstars were a little iffy and lacking, and I broke my ankle in them. These don't have laces in them because the paramedics had to cut the laces out to get my foot out, which is kind of sick. So I want to know, are Tyshawn's shoes actually made better? How durable are these shoes for skating? Like, how good are they for skating? And how do they rank among the confusing builds of the other Adidas skate shoes? So what is this shoe? The brand is obviously Adidas. The style is the Tyshawn II. They weigh 1 pound. They retail at $100, which a lot of the Adidas skate shoes are at $100. So it's tough to kind of know what really sets any models apart from each other. Like, this is $100, this is $100, this is also $100. So it's kind of confusing. You would expect you to get the same shoe for that same price. They're made in Vietnam, and the positioning from the website says, "A legacy reborn, the Tyshawn II delivers signature style and performance. Featuring new design language focused on function and simplicity, the Tyshawn II reinterprets elements from Tyshawn's favorite football silhouettes. Blending sleek design touches with a durable cupsole construction, the Tyshawn II delivers style and performance with a dual-layered toe area and multi-directional cupsole tread for a streamlined fit and impact cushioning." Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. I'll put all these shoes in the links below in case you want to try any of them out, and make sure to go watch the Superstar video and the Samba video, which was pretty surprising. So if we start by going to the uppers, how long are these actually going to last when you are skating on them? The material, you can see it's kind of a PU coated leather. It might be suede covered in PU. A lot of the bigger companies like Adidas and Nike do this. Since they're producing such scale, it's easier to put a finish on top to even out all of the flaws and imperfections of the leather. A lot of people say that the leather wears pretty quick. My surrogate skater that I had skating this while my ankle's broken, he was saying it did flip really quickly, but you can see by the wear on the toe that it doesn't take a lot to wear down, and here is why. So this PU coated leather, it's kind of what causes your textbook creasing in like the iconic shoes like Nike Air Force Ones and shoes like that. So you can see the grandma skin-like effect when the coating is separating from the leather here. So it's like the coating separates from the actual leather and creates wrinkles and bubbles. So it's pretty loose grained across the whole shoe, but especially for skate shoes, looks take a backseat to durability for me. So let's take its measurement. So the toe leather comes in at 1.3 millimeters thick, which is a little bit thin. You usually want 1.5 or above. 1.5 is about average for these large sneaker companies though. It said it was a dual layer toe, and I'm really curious if it actually is double layered. That's like one of the biggest offenses we see. Instead of this going all the way down, it's just stops right there. It creates pretty much another fail point in skate shoes. So if we cut off this toe, let's do some live live cutting here to see if this leather actually goes through. Oop, just nicked the cutting board. Good thing it's there. So if we fillet off the toe, you can see that there is actually 2 layers of leather there. So that is really good to see. I am actually surprised to see that. Like a lot of these companies, I wouldn't be expected. It's what we saw in the Samba. The Samba actually had double layers. So it's good to see that this one actually has double layers, especially when it's so thin. But the thickness of this back piece right here on the toe is also 1.3 millimeters. So they're both a little thin, but together you get about 2.5 millimeters, which is about your average work boot thickness. So it's pretty good. Also, I was really curious about this heel layer here because you see on the back it has the heel cover here, and pretty much in every skate shoe we've ever seen, you focus on the front half here from where you ollie and kickflip, and then the back is like, oh, you get some good stuff. It's not actually double layered or anything. So we filleted off the back of the heel, and unfortunately it's not actually double layered. It is a real layer of leather, but it's not double layered. It's only single stitched. That's okay. It's good to see it's at least double layered where it matters. But the true test of durability, the Martindale Abrasion test, it simulates real life wear and tear of kickflips and ollies. And how we do this, we cut a sample from the toe, and then we cut a sample of grip tape. I'm using Mob grip tape. It's the grippiest grip. The machine then rubs the sample of the shoe against the grip tape for as many as we set it. I set it for 500 cycles and come back and check each 500 to see how it's wearing. And I'm really curious because all the Adidas I've tested have been all over the place. Like the Superstars were super low. They were like 300, which is super low. The Sambas were decent, and they also have multiple layers. And the Superstar RX things that we cut from 5 years ago were really good. They had like 3,000, so I really don't know what to expect out of these shoes. And everyone says that the toe wears really fast, but it might just be the cover coming off. So I put it on the abrasion test, and unfortunately, the outside toe leather went through after only 321 cycles. One of our lowest leather scores ever, right next to the Adidas Superstar. So not great, but I tested the second layer as well, and it goes through at 738. So it's admittedly a little bit on the low side. I always want to see a shoe lasting at least 1,000 cycles on any leathers, but together it does get over 1,000. So this is why I'm always kind of skeptical of PU coated leathers. It's such a toss up of what you actually get. Like, will it be one of the worst or will it be one of the most durable shoes? Because they're all over the place. And you never really know. Suede, you at least get consistent like 1,000 to 1,200 on most shoes. And that kind of confirms what a lot of people have said about the early wearing of the toe and kind of like why it flicks so fast. But if you really want to add more durability to your shoes, you can always add a pig suede patch. Patchworks is something I started here with the help of Rosanville. Since all of us working here have side businesses, the shop kind of acts like a little seeder machine where we can use all of the machines and tools we have here to like help our own businesses. So shout out to Weston and Rosanville for letting us do that. But I hate blowing through my skate shoes and having to deal with the holes. So I made this patch out of super abrasion resistant pig suede to keep your shoes good longer. So I tested this pig suede and it takes about 3,000 cycles to go through, which is like the top of the list of everything we've tested. So you can add this to your shoes and literally double, triple, or even in the Adidas case, 10 times the life of your leather. So I made it so you can lace it through your lace right here, and this should protect your lace a little bit. You can go through the eyelets, but also made it big enough that you can cut your own patches out because the lace side works perfectly for your ollies, but you always need a little different patch up here. So they're big enough, you can cut your own patch. I had my friend put some on some of his Asics, and I made him do it in black so you could see it, so it's really contrasting. It kind of looks like it has like a missing tooth, which is kind of funny. So you get 5 patches and a tube of shoe glue to apply everything, so you have a lot of options to work with and customize your shoes. So you can really disguise the limit. I made them specifically for this spot and with the ability to do whatever you want. And for you homies out there watching right now, you can use code MAKEMELASTLONGER for 10% off because I think that's funny. So thank you to Rosanville for allowing all of the employees to do this and helping me out, like starting my own side business for something that really matters to me and really bugs me. But enough of plugging my own products. But on the inside and lining of the shoe, it has a pretty classic like sneaker. It's textile lining. There's terry cloth lining the tongue instead of normal textile. One thing that it does not have is the elastic tongue straps you see on most skate models, which it's not a deal breaker depending on tongue size. Some people really want that tongue strap down. It's like one of the things they look for, but it doesn't move around too much, so it's not that big a deal. And if we move to the outsole, you can see it's a pretty standard rubber cup sole with the foam actually poking out here. I'm really curious how much foam is actually in here. Like that DC Lynx I cut had similar features where you could look in, but it's literally just that much foam. Like it was just this circle of foam and then an egg crate for the rest of it. So we'll see what that means when it's cut. It comes in, the hardness of this outsole is about 68 to 70 Shore, so it's gonna be hard, which is average for a cup sole. So it's going to be a little less grippy and soft right out of the box compared to a Volk shoe, but it will definitely last longer than a softer, grippier Volk shoe. Then if you take the insole out, it's just your classic Adidas branded insole. It looks just the same as the ones in the Sambas and the Superstars. But once you take the insole out, and you can kind of see, and press down on it, and it kind of feels like it's foam, but it's also kind of a hard lasting board. So I don't actually know how much foam is in here, and I guess we'll just have to cut it in half to see what's in there, because some of these companies can get away with some shady stuff like that DC little foam, and that Lakai had like the little tiny sliver of foam in the heel. But we ran the ball drop on it. It came in at 14 inches with the ball drop. If we flipped it around with the heavier bar drop test, it comes in at 5 inches, which pretty average numbers across the board. So it's hard to extrapolate any meaningful results from what's actually in here. So let's chop this thing in half and see what's inside.
These are micro adjust belts, handmade right here in the shop by us. Premium leather, solid brass hardware, and the rounded buckle so it doesn't dig into your gut all day. But what is micro adjust? Well, the one problem everyone always has with their belts is one hole's too tight, one's too loose. These little adjustments right here allow you to adjust your belt by 1/2 inch increments so it fits you exactly how you want for the lifetime of the belt. So check them out below.
Here it comes!
All right, so we got it cut in half. It's all chopped up and destroyed to run all of the tests. So make sure, like, subscribe, do the free things you can to support us so we can cut in half like $500 worth of shoes every single week so you guys can see what you're actually getting and know what to buy. And make sure to go check out some of our handmade leather goods. Like, quick free plug, I love the Rosample belts, like especially for skating because they're super thick and super nice. And you wouldn't think that would matter too much, but they're durable and they take a beating, which is super good for me for skating. Anyways, enough plugs. So let's see what's inside. Okay, so I was not expecting this inside at all. The half foam midsole to egg crate midsole style. Like, this is pretty similar to some of the Asics and like the Nike Dunk that we have seen, but neither of them have this egg crate in the toes. They all just have like a little foam wedge and go to nothing. Maybe even like that Last Resort CM002, which had a little foam pad and then a little bit of egg crate is closest, but that outsole is much softer and much more flexible than this one. So what does all of this mean to you? The foam is 30 short A, so it's not too squishy, like it's pretty dense, and that should feel pretty cushiony when you drop, and the egg crate toe will definitely give you a lot more board feel than having like a piece of foam underneath. Honestly, it makes sense for Tyshawn's kind of style of skating, so he needs a lot of response and power under his toes for his massive ollies and ridiculous amounts of pop, so I can see why you wouldn't want any foam like dampening your motion, kind of like running in sand. But he also does a ton of drops. He's been skating down the New York courthouse drop for like 15 years now, so you still get the foam under your heel to help with that. So the final questions of the video, are they durable? I'm gonna say yes. The leather is a little on the low side, but it's at least double layered. I would always like to see over 1,000 cycles in any skate shoes. I'd probably put them on par with any other cupsole. It's like a Nike Dunk, but where the Nike Dunk loses some points is it doesn't actually have double layers, and this one does. So are Tyshawn's products actually better, or are they just the same? So compared to the other two Adidas, these are objectively better built. Obviously, all three are gonna feel wildly different. So with the Tyshawns, you get the half foam midsole, you get the double layers, and then the egg crate kind of toe. And then with the Sambas, you get the full egg crate, no midsole at all, but you do get the double layers and the rubber layer in the toe. And with the Superstars, you just get an egg crate and the rubber toe. I'm a little disappointed in this one. For all three of these being $100, I would say you get objectively more shoe for the Tyshawn than the other two, which is kind of confusing. It's hard because most companies have like your star shoe, then you have your mid-price takedown, and then you have your bottom price takedown. And this is how I would kind of rank them. It's like, this is the star shoe, this is the takedown, this is the takedown of that, but they're all the same price. Like usually that comes with some price differences in there, but I don't know. Maybe the toe of this rubber was way more expensive than putting all of this stuff in this one. I don't know. And usually pro shoes are more expensive because they make something. They got to make something off their name being on a product. Weird. So I feel like I need to cut the Adidas Busenits and maybe do like a Busenits versus that Asics Legaretza since they're all pretty similar. So overall, pretty good shoe. I'm pretty impressed. I'd say it's in the same vein as a Dunk. It's going to feel a little pointier. Honestly, I'd probably skate this over a Nike Dunk if we're being honest. This is also $15 cheaper than a Nike Dunk, and you get pretty similar components. Just maybe go for a suede one or buy it and add some patches to it or beef it up to make it last a little bit longer. Hopefully Adidas and Tyshawn don't separate anytime soon. It doesn't seem like they will. I hear Adidas is pretty good to their team, and they've been backing Tyshawn for like 10 years, 15 years now. Let me know what your experience in these shoes is. Like pretty much everything I've seen, most people I've talked to that have skated these say the toes go through pretty quick, but other than that, they're pretty good. I'm gonna have to agree with what everyone's saying just based on the tests we ran. All right, audience, you tell me, because I did that iPath video and I cut every single one of their shoes in half, and it didn't do so well, but I really want to do more stuff like that. So let me know if we should do that with like a bigger company like Adidas or cutting all of Nikes or something like that. Let me know what else we should cut, and make sure to go sign up for the skate testing pool so you can potentially skate some shoes. I got the first batch of those videos coming up pretty soon. Anyways, Adidas, this is surprisingly good. I thought it wasn't gonna be as good. Anyways, that's it for me. Peace out. Look, I'm standing. My ankle's not broken. I'm almost back.